first one is gonna happen. I just found, I'll tell you a little story what I'm gonna do. So I'm looking for a Mazda Miata. I love that car. It's a very cheap and affordable car that you can buy. The reason why I want to buy a Miata is because, first of all, I owned the 1990 and I love that car. It was one of the best cars I've ever had. Never gave me an issue. I think I bought that car like at 130,000 miles, and I drove it for probably another 40 to like 189 and never gave me an issue. So I just found one on Craigslist. The guy wanted a 2500, but this car is pretty much a bucket. The paint is shot, it's all peeling. It has some weird eBay taillights. He says the interior is pretty decent. He didn't have no interior shots, but he said that the interior is pretty decent, that the driver's seat has one tear, but everything else is clean. But the reason why I'm buying this car is because it has 130,000 miles. Now, I don't know if you can easily change the gauge cluster, I guess, from another car. But the way I'm gonna do is when I go to AAA, I have AAA, I'm gonna make sure that it's clean title, and I'm gonna see the last mileage when registered. That's the best I can do, and maybe I can do a Carfax later. But I talked him down on the phone all the way to 1800, from 2500 to 1800. So it seems like he's hurting to sell it. And when I talked to him, he told me that the car doesn't start, so it needs to be jump started. So I'm already thinking it's gonna need a battery, and it's gonna probably need an alternator. That's best case scenario. But with these kind of cars, you gotta kind of take your chances. So we'll see, we'll check it out, and I'll see how the motor feels, and probably just take his word for it. I think getting a Miata for $1,800 is a pretty good deal here in California. The market's pretty high out here. For a clean, average-looking Miata, for like 160,000 miles to 200,000 miles, you're looking at $3,000. And if you want a hardtop, you're looking at $4,000. And if you a pure bucket, like the cheapest I've seen is like $2,000. So I think 1,800 is pretty decent. I'm gonna see if I can get it for 1,600. If everything checks out, I think the most I'm willing to give him is probably the 1,800. But everything has to check out on the car. So we're driving down there, and then hopefully he lets me film it. And it's a red one, black interior, 1992, with 135,000 miles. So stay tuned, guys. So we're here where we came and looked at the Miata. It's not as bad as I thought it was. It does have these funky lights. I would have to find the originals on eBay. And this peeled, but the paint is not that bad. I'll still repaint it. Interior is actually really clean. I see one rip, but other than that, it looks good. Clear coat looks good. Right here, it's bad. Gotta repaint it. But the body is straight. I don't see any really big dings other than like here. I've never seen this badge, the Roadster badge. But it's clean. It's really clean. No damage. Usually there's damage. I think the battery's on this side. And there's damage right here if you don't tie down your battery. The battery start hitting here. I remember that I did that to mine. But it looks pretty damn straight to me. Now I have to see how it runs. Needs new tires. But it has the rims I like. I like these the most. It's pretty clean. And it probably needs a new roof. I could probably restore this thing. It's not bad. For being a, what is it, 20-year-old car by now. This is a cool badge too. I like that. That's cool. Alright guys, so we're gonna test drive the Miata. It started up, the battery seemed like it was a little bit dead, but that's not that expensive. And then worst case scenario, an alternator, if that. It's crazy because I haven't driven this car since like 2005 when I had this in
That was a 90 though, right?
It was a 90. This is a 92, right?
Yes, 92.
92. Mine was a hardtop though.
Oh.
So I gotta find a hardtop because I like them like that.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. So it feels fine. It feels like the steering pulls a little bit to the right. That can be a number of things. The cheapest thing being an alignment. We'll check the arms to make sure they're not bent or anything. The clutch is very light. I haven't driven a car like this in a while. But the car's doing good. It's warming up. Looks like the oil pressure gauge is working. The temperature gauge is working. It feels smooth. And we looked at the engine bay earlier, and he actually has a aftermarket intake on the car. Apparently he said that he had the car and had modifications already on it. I guess they put a test pipe and removed the Cadillac converter. He replaced that to pass smog, so that's a good thing. We won't have issues, because when you do buy a car, you do have to re-smog it when you register a new name, unless the car has been recently smogged within, what is it, 30 days?
Right.
30 days. Yeah, the miles are 134,000 miles.
Good one.
It feels solid from what I remember. It could use like some aftermarket springs to stiffen it up. But this car is it was amazing when I had it. It never gave me an issue. I crashed it one time in the mountain and I bent the A-arm. I went to the junkyard, bought an A-arm, threw it in, did alignment, and drove straight again.
Yeah, that's right.
It's crazy, these cars, man. So the car's a little warmed up. I'm gonna see what kind of power it has. Shouldn't have that much power. It's a little small, 1.6. But it goes. It'll get you on the freeway. That's all that matters. So now we're putting it through the ringer. It seems like it's overheating a little bit. Let's turn off the AC. It's overheating. Get the heater on. Almost done. So we got the heat to go back down. I didn't like that. So that's a tip for you guys. If the car ever starts overheating on you, the best way to cool down the car, turn on the heater. It's an extra radiator for your car, and it'll automatically cool it down. But right now I put it through the worst condition possible. We pretty much floored it, third gear, and then put on the AC, so the motor's going through a lot of stress. The car could just need water, or worst case scenario, a radiator. Who knows? We'll have to look into that too. That's why we're test driving the car to see what dilemmas occur. But this is what goes on when you're buying used cars. You want to look at all these kind of things. And that's a test that I like to do. I'll let you know if the car's overheating or not. Because you got an extra pulley, you're pulling power from the car. And you have the pink slip in hand?
Yeah, I have it in hand.
It's clean title?
Yes.
Alright guys, so I ended up test driving the car. And the car seemed like it pulled the way it should. It didn't seem anything off. The one dilemma, as you guys saw, is that the car overheated when I put the air conditioning on and floored it from, I think, like it was like second to third, or third to fourth gear. It started to overheat real quick. I noticed that the fans were kicking on, so maybe it's something with the fans. Another issue the car has is that the battery, he says that the battery won't start. So the battery is old, so the car, once you turned it off, we drove it around and the alternator did not charge the battery to restart the car. So it could either be three things. It could either be the starter doesn't work, the alternator doesn't work, or the battery doesn't work. And the fourth thing, they all don't work. So then and there is $300, $400, something like that. $300. So I told them tomorrow I want the car for we settled on $1,800. It drives straight and it has coning shocks. So whoever had it before used to do stuff with it. So and it ran strong. It didn't make any ticking noises or any knocking noises. Everything sounded pretty decent. And we'll see. Tomorrow we're gonna meet at AAA and transfer titles, and that should be it. Then we'll take it home, and then we're probably gonna have to get it smogged, see if it even passes smog, and go from there. And tomorrow I'll buy a battery, and if it still doesn't start and turn on, I'm still gonna purchase the car, but he's gonna knock off another $100 off the price. So, and it should be fun. So stay tuned, guys. It looks like we're getting a Miata, and we're gonna start working on that car.
I just really like the lines on them, you know, and the way they looked at when they were moving, and then the kind of kits that they had on them, all that stuff. It's what sparked it for me. And after that, I just, had to have one. My name is Carl DeCusin. I drive a